And I remember there was this one family of these two little twin girls. And essentially what happened with them is their mother was deported in North Carolina. So in the middle of the night, their aunt gets a call to go pick them up. And then the little girls come to live with them in Florida. And we went to talk to one of the senators. And one of the little twin girls was brave enough to actually step up to a senator we had been searching for, trying to get a meeting with. And she actually told the story of what happened. And she explained how in the middle of the night, her mother disappeared. And she didn't know where she went. And then her aunt came and got her. And she was scared that the same thing was going to happen with her aunt.
Talking about children who were brought to this country by their parents. Since when in America do we visit the sins and crimes of parents on children? If a parent commits a crime, does that mean that the child...
Eyeing a vote on a controversial immigration reform bill. Critics say the DreamAct amounts to
amnesty for
illegal.
So really, it doesn't ask for that much. All it says is that...
To join the military for 2 years.
Roberto Juarez, and I'm the team coordinator for the Maryland Dream Youth Committee. I was born in Washington, D.C. My mom is from Peru. She came to the United States as a domestic worker. My dad's from El Salvador. He came to the United States, escaping the Civil War in El Salvador. And I remember we sat in a small circle, and the students started to talk. And one after the other, the students said, "I'm undocumented. I'm scared. I'm not sure what I'm going to do." And that's where we really came together and we said, all right, we need to do something to change this. And it was with that small group that we started the Maryland Dream Youth Committee. And we heard about other students doing similar things. And we heard about the DREAM Act. And the DREAM Act is a bill in Congress that basically says if an undocumented student goes to college for 2 years or serves in the military 2 years, they can be put on the pathway to citizenship. With the DREAM Act, there's very specific requirements for it. So you have to have come here before the age of 16 to be able to apply for the DREAM Act. You also have to show good moral character. That means not committing any crimes, not getting any trouble, showing that you're a good person in your community. You have to graduate high school or get a GED, and that's to be able to get some sort of conditional permanent residency.
My name is Jorge Steven Acuna. I'm 19 years old, and I go to Montgomery College. They told me that, education here was free. They told me that education was like something valued by a lot of Americans, and that if I worked hard, that I basically had no limit as to what I wanted to be. So I took that and took it to heart and really set my mind to it.
In 2010, during the lame duck session in Congress, just dreamers from everywhere came to Capitol Hill. And everybody said that we couldn't pass the DREAM Act, that was never going to pass the House of Representatives, that was never going to get passed in the Senate. And I remember it was a group of like 20, 30 of us who were working, going every single day, visiting the representatives, coordinating with our states back home, and we got it passed in the House. And then we made a national call, and all these dreamers started flooding in from around the country. And I think on the day of the Senate vote, there was like hundreds of dreamers that came in and invaded and basically kind of took over Capitol Hill. And we were working vote by vote, getting closer and closer. And when we finally came together in the chamber, all the dreamers were there, kind of holding hands and really showing what we had done, how we had come together. And we lost the vote. But I remember coming out of the Senate chamber, and the students weren't defeated. I remember there was 3 questions. It was basically like, basically one of the dreamers said, "Are we going to stop? No. Are we going to quit? No. Are we going to succeed? Yes."
I'm here because I am afraid for our nation. I can't believe something like SB 1070 even got to our Supreme Court. It's like we're taking steps back as a humanity, as a nation, and we're all here united to make sure that it doesn't pass.
Estamos aquí luchando para ver si le ablandamos el corazón a Obama, a los senadores y a todos acá que no la aprueben.
The immigration is not a criminal law, it's civil law. But we criminalize folks. And that's what the opposition does a lot in terms of in terms of doing that type of stuff, associating undocumented communities or undocumented families with criminal activity.
It really just changed on that Wednesday when immigration came and took my father at first. They told us that we were basically going to be able to go home later on that night, but instead they sent us to a prison or like a jail, and that's when it really hit me that the life that I had lived here was completely different and that it was just going to be over. I saw it in her eyes, and she had been crying all night, or so it seemed, and when she saw me, she went to hug me, and the guard that was with her kind of pushed her off with her arm and was like, "No, what are you doing?" But the thing is that the guard hadn't realized that was my mom. So when this happened, I'm sure that the guard herself felt really bad about what she had just done, because me and my mom, we both started crying, and then she realized what had happened, and she was able to arrange for us to actually see each other. We couldn't physically touch each other, but we were like face to face, and I guess it was like one of the saddest moments I had spent. Like the saddest moment in my life was seeing my mom not be able to hug me.
A lot of myths out there about the DREAM Act, about the in-state tuition bill. A lot of things that are said that are completely untrue. The big one: undocumented folks don't pay taxes. First of all, there's sales taxes and everything. So right there, folks are paying taxes. Also, income taxes. You have the ability to pay income taxes, and a lot of folks do that. And the DREAM Act requires somebody to go to school for 2 years, to either work 2 years to a bachelor's or get an associate's, or serve 2 years in the military. And you have 6 years to be able to do that. You have those 6 years under the conditional permanent residency to accomplish those goals. Once those 6 years are completed, and you've gotten the 2 years of education or the 2 years of serving the country, then you can get your permanent residency, and then with the permanent residency, there's different requirements to be able to get your citizenship.
Probably one of the biggest obstacles is just the fact that, most people won't really help out an undocumented student. Obviously, if it comes down between an undocumented and a documented student, you're gonna end up just picking the documented student simply because they're able to. They have like a secure tomorrow. My senior year of high school, when all my friends were applying for universities, for FAFSA, for many different stuff, they were really thrilled about what their next step in life was going to be. And I was kind of like, I found myself in the situation where I didn't have the same opportunities they did, and I found that was really unjust. But I figured that I'd always have to make the best out of everything that I've been given.
I believe in unity. I believe the people have the right to make a difference. I'm here because I believe in justice. There's a lot of emotions that go through you, but you just got to stay true to what you believe in. I am really nervous and scared to see what other states are going to do next.
President Obama has increased enforcement tremendously, has been deporting so many folks, setting new records. I think like 1 million folks are going to be deported underneath his administration, many times more than what President Bush was doing. And we looked at President Obama as somebody who was going to be a champion of immigrant rights. I remember him promising that in the first 100 days they were going to pass some sort of reform. That he was out advocating for the DREAM Act. He's always saying the DREAM Act needs to pass. Yet he's deporting dreamers.
We are here to fight for our rights. We have the right to say in America. America is a place to be for everybody. Thank you.
So I'm here with other members from JSA. We're from the National Korean Association and also representing some other Asian communities. The mass media thinks of it or kind of watches over like the color scheme in terms of like Asians as immigrants, and that's kind of not represented in the media enough. But there is a lot of recent immigrants who are Asians coming over from Cambodia, Filipino, Korea, different nations. And we really want to stand in solidarity because we are also being affected by these kinds of laws that are very racist, and it's a human rights issue, really. And I, as a Korean American and a U.S. citizen, also daughter of immigrant parents, really feel like I have a social responsibility to be here.
Para apoyar a todas las familias que estamos aquí, inmigrantes.
I'm here to oppose SB 1070 and call on the Supreme Court to uphold the Constitution and strike down the Arizona law which discriminates against Latinos and immigrants in Arizona.
It's against Asians, it's against Africans, it's against everyone. And everyone should be aware of the fact that racial profiling is wrong.
Well, we oppose it because we think it's an overreach by the state to grab a federal responsibility to enforce our immigration laws.
I'm here because this law is unjust. I'm here because SB 1070 is not only against my rights, but it's against humanity. .1070 is wrong. So go out there and fight, and that's why I'm here, because I'm fighting to make justice in this country.
My friends would kind of come in and tell me, you know, we're starting something big, but I never realized that it would be as big to get me and my family out of jail. We started a whole movement where it started out as JSA for, my initials, which is Jorge Steven Acuna. And they would sort of just write all over different social media saying free Jorge, free JSA, and JSA was everywhere. And then before we knew it, I was out. And, now we're advocating for something different, which is justice for students in America. Trying to make sure that nobody has to live through what I had to live through.
But more importantly, we think what's behind it is this real bad racial history that the state of Arizona has had. This is a state that was, part of the Confederacy, that refused to recognize the civil rights laws, that fought against equal rights for African Americans and Latinos, wouldn't even recognize the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And now they figured out a way to go after Latinos just because of the color of their skin and not the content of their character. They're hardworking individuals. They've contributed to the economy of that state. And in return, what do they get? They get harassment by the government of Arizona. We think that's illegal, and we hope the Supreme Court agrees with us.
And we're gonna find folks who are gonna step up, and that's gonna motivate other folks to come out of the shadows, to stop being fearful, and motivate us who do have the opportunities, who were born here, to do even more. Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take all of us coming together to actually make some sort of change in Maryland. And then, like I said, it's growing. It's growing here. It's growing in all the different states. And we are creating a movement that's going to make a huge change in this country.